Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and greetings to my supervisor, Madam Faiza, and also my second examiner, Miss Onaliza. My name is Aida Eliana binti Muhammad Madrisham, and today I will be presenting my final year project titled as The Perception of UITM Students on the Use of AI Tools in English for Academic Writing. Artificial intelligence, or also known as AI, has become increasingly integrated into many sectors, such as healthcare, finance, technology, and also education. And according to Alamaki in 2025, AI can enhance efficiency, governance, and also overall competitiveness in those sectors. But in education, AI writing tools such as ChatGPT, Grammarly, and Quillbot have become more common among university students. And these tools are actually widely used to generate ideas, improve sentence structure, and also correct grammar, as well as organize written content. Previous studies, such as by Khalifa and Al-Badawi, also reported that AI tools can improve the overall quality of students' academic writing. However, despite their increasing popularity among students, there is still limited evidence regarding how they perceive these AI tools and how it actually influences their perceived linguistic competence. Therefore, this study was conducted to address these issues. And moving on to the next slide, which is the purpose of this study. The initial purpose of this study was to investigate UITM students' perceptions and acceptance of AI tools in English academic writing. And specifically, this study had 3 research objectives, which are: the first one was to compare the familiarity levels with AI tools between students from Academy of Language Studies, also known as APB, and also the students from Faculty of Built Environment, also known as FAB. And the second objective was to examine whether gender and academic faculty differences influence their perceptions of using AI tools in English for academic writing. And finally, the third objective was to investigate the relationship between students' acceptance of AI tools and their perceived communicative competence in English for academic writing. Now I will explain the framework used to conduct this research. And actually, this study was guided by the 2 theories, which is Technology Acceptance Model, or also known as TAM, by Venkatesh and Davis in 2000, along with the Hans Communicative Competence Theory in 1972. And according to TAM, students are more likely to accept technology when they perceive this technology as useful and easy to use. Therefore, these 3 factors, perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and familiarity with AI tools, contribute towards students' acceptance of AI writing tools. And then in turn, acceptance of AI tools is expected to influence their perceived linguistic competence in English academic writing, which was also adopted from Heim's theory just now. And not only that, gender and academic faculty differences were also examined to determine whether these demographic variables influence their perceptions or not. And now moving on to literature review, there are several previous studies that supported the importance of this research, and what I would like to highlight from this table right here is that these studies similarly reported that university students or participants of their research integrated and accepted AI technology in their academic writing or assignments in general for its benefit to improve their written skills and overall writing quality regardless of their different demographic profiles. And however, out of these literature papers reviewed, there are still limited studies involving UITM students that compare faculties and genders while simultaneously examining the relationship between AI acceptance and perceived linguistic competence. Therefore, this research aims to fill in that research gaps. Moving on to the next one, which is the methodology. So this study adopted a quantitative research approach using a cross-sectional survey design, and the data were collected through a structured online survey or Likert scale survey, specifically on Google Form, and also based on the TAM model and communicative competence theory. So each items were adapted from the previous researches, such as from Ahmad et al. In 2025, Chia et al. In 2022, and Chai in 2010. And the sampling methods used was purposive sampling first, which is to specifically choose the faculties or variables to compare with. And then the second one is convenience sampling, to distribute the questionnaire or survey through the student's email. And a total of 100 UITM students had responded to the survey, which also consisted of students from the Academy of Language Studies and the Faculty of Built Environment. And the data collected were then analyzed using the Jamovi software. And for more details on the data analysis procedure, because of this research paper had 3 research questions, so each research question used a different procedure which were calculated on Jamovi software. So for RQ1 and RQ2, these questions used descriptive statistics and also independent sample t-test, while the RQ3 used Pearson correlation analysis. So before we discuss into details about the research findings, let's recap each research question and learn about the demographic profile. So research question 1 is to calculate the difference in AI tools familiarity level between the students from 2 faculties, which is Academy of Language Studies and Faculty of Built Environment. And RQ2 is to examine the gender and academic faculty influences on their acceptance of AI tools. And the last one, RQ3, is to determine the relationship between AI tools acceptance and their perceived linguistic competence. And for the respondents' demographic profile, this study involved 100 UITM students, and out of the total respondents, 58 were female and 42 were male. And in terms of academic faculty, 56 were from the Faculty of Built Environment and 44 were from Academy of Language Studies. And the majority of students that responded to this survey were from bachelor's degree, which is 77%, and the other 23 were from diploma. Moving on to the next one. The first research question is to examine whether there was a significant difference in familiarity with AI tools between students from the Academy of Language Studies and the Faculty of Built Environment. And based on the descriptive statistics, both groups recorded high familiarity scores, and students from the Academy of Language Studies obtained a mean score of 4.34, while the students from Faculty of Built Environment obtained a mean score of 4.29. And since the mean scores were very close, the independent sample t-test showed that there was no significant difference between these 2 variables, and it also suggests that students from both faculties were similarly familiar with AI tools that are used for English academic writing. And this is the result from independent sample t-test run in Jamovi, in which the highlighted part is the ones that are used for interpretation. So moving on to second research question, which examined whether gender and academic faculty difference influence students' perceptions of using AI in English academic writing. In Table 1, by gender, female students obtained a mean score of 4.12, and male students obtained a slightly higher mean score of 4.33. And although male students recorded a slightly higher mean, the independent sample t-test indicated that this difference was not significant, and therefore the findings suggest that male and female students shared similar perceptions regarding the use of AI tools. And by academic faculty difference, in second table, students from the Academy of Language Studies obtained a mean score of 4.11, while students from the Faculty of Built Environment obtained a mean score of 4.28. Similar to the gender comparison, both groups demonstrated positive perceptions toward using AI tools. And the independent sample t-test confirmed that there was no significant difference between these two faculties, and the results suggest that students from different academic backgrounds generally perceived AI tools in a similar manner, and they agreed that AI usefulness and ease of use is acceptable for their English academic writing. So this is the result from Jamovi software, which calculated the independent sample t-test for gender difference. And the highlighted part is the one that is used for interpretation. And this next slide is the result from independent sample t-test for academic faculty result in research question number 2. And the highlighted part is the one that are used for interpretation. Moving on to the final research question, which is the third one, that investigated whether there was a relationship between students' acceptance of AI tools and their perceived linguistic competence in English academic writing. So based on the Pearson correlation analysis, a very strong positive relationship was found between these two variables, and with the R value equals to 0.892 and the P value is less than 0.001. This indicates that the students who demonstrated higher acceptance of AI tools also tend to report a higher perceived linguistic competence in their English academic writing. And as shown in the scatter plots here, it demonstrated that how the variables correlated to one another. So overall, these findings suggest that students who perceive AI tools as useful and easy to use are more likely to believe that these tools contribute positively to their writing performance in English academic writing. And here is the result from the Pearson correlation analysis, and the highlighted part is the ones that are used for interpretation. Moving on to the final chapter, chapter 5, for the discussion. The first research question: this study found no significant difference in familiarity level between students from the Academy of Language Studies and the Faculty of Built Environment. This finding is consistent with Ahmad et al. And Narayan and also Jiang et al., who reported that university students generally have high familiarity level with AI tools regardless of their academic disciplines. And for the second research question, no significant differences were also found based on gender or academic faculties. And this finding is similarly reported by Idrisu et al. And Ivan et al., who proved that demographic factors did not significantly influence students' acceptance or the perceptions of AI tools. And the final research question, it reveals that there were a strong positive relationship between AI acceptance and perceived linguistic competence. So these findings support that the TAM, or Technology Acceptance Model, and agrees with Zhao and Huang as well as Kadi et al., who concluded that students who perceive AI tools as useful and easy to use are more likely to adopt them for their academic writing. And to conclude this discussion, the findings suggest that AI tools have become widely accepted among university students, and it can actually positively support their English academic writing if the students used the technology responsibly. Moving on to the final slide, based on this research, there are several implications that can be drawn. For students, AI tools can be utilized responsibly to improve grammar, vocabulary, sentence structure, and overall writing quality while also maintaining the academic integrity. And for educators and also higher education institutions, the findings suggest that AI literacy and ethical AI practices are crucial and should be incorporated into English academic writing courses to help students optimize their benefits in using AI, and it is recommended for future research to involve a larger sample from multiple universities across Malaysia and also academic disciplines. And for future studies, may also integrate a mixed method approaches and examine the additional factors such as digital literacy or ethical awareness of the students that may influence their AI acceptance. So all in all, this study has found that UITM students demonstrated a high familiarity level and positive acceptance of AI tools for English academic writing, regardless of their gender and their academic faculties, because these AI tools can enhance their English writing performance. And it is also important to acknowledge that AI tools have considerable potential to enhance university students' academic writing if it is integrated and used ethically. And that's all for my presentation of my FYP research. And thank you for listening.